Howdy folks. So let's go over a few critical drills. We'll do this in a progression. These drills are going to help you get your plane control on lock so that if you want to explore tilted atoms, it is much easier. They involve diagonal planes basically the whole time. And so the unique thing about diagonal planes is like in a vertical plane, you could do a pendulum and then just give a little oomph and the buoy will kind of do its own thing. It'll fly up, you give it just enough to go over the top and the gravity finishes it. Doesn't work like that in diagonals. You can't really pendulum in a diagonal. You know, you get this weird flop thing because gravity. So you have to constantly put a little bit of force into the buoy in order to maintain the plane. You need that centrifugal force, that inertia, to keep the diagonal going. So a good idea would be just to drill some diagonals. There's this one, and then this one, and then both directions for both of those. Once you're kind of comfortable with the diagonal, there's a drill, it's sphering, so it's a little more advanced. We won't talk about the technical aspect of it right now. Feel it, just feel it. So put your plane in wheel for this example, and rotate the plane into wall. Keep it rotating. I'm back to wheel, but now I'm in reverse. Rotate again, back to wheel, in, forward. And do the rotation through that in both directions. So there's your first sphere, right? And you could do that also like along an axis that's between you and I, and bend it like this. Or the other direction. Like, take as many beats as you need to, you know. If you find a spot that's hard to control, stick it out for a second until you dial it in. Oh, this one feels wonky, so I'll stay here until I get it solid. Okay. So there's that one, and then there's one more version. Oh yeah, so horizontal, wall, horizontal, switch, wall, horizontal, switch. So you could drill that one too. And each one of these is essentially making a sphere. It's a single thing orbiting a center of rotation, so you're kind of outlining a sphere. That's what they call it, sphering. We could take that same idea, do it with both poi. Just like the switch thing you do when you're going for horizontal. Switch with your hands on top. And we go the other direction. So those drills are awesome. The next one we're going to move into is the ISO bend drill. It's basically take your buzzsaw. We're going to isolate the bottom of the orbit down here at our solar plexus, right? So that's where we're going to bend from. Each time the buoy gets there, we move our center of rotation just slightly. So we change the plane. And we can do that with both of them. Now when we're here, they're on top of my hand, switch. Now they're underneath, I continue the pattern. If I do that from the side, I'm in reverse, switch. Now I'm in forward. So you want to run two iterations, the one where it's reverse on top, and then forward on top. I'm back to reverse now, so I'll go reverse on the bottom, then I'll bend the other direction. From above my arm, forward on top, bring it down, repeat. Boom. So that's your drill there. That drill, I mean, just watching, you can probably tell why that's going to be important for the tilted atom. Once you're really comfortable with that drill, all the four, forward on top, reverse on top, forward on bottom, reverse on top, bottom, going both directions, bending from the bottom to the top. Get real familiar with that. You'll probably notice a few moments, important moments. Both of them are vertical. Now both of them are diagonal and they're at 90 degrees to each other. So practice bringing your hands together, getting that tilted buzzsaw out. Bring it back out, flatten, hands together. It's the other atom, right? Bring them together to the top, bend. Oh, here we are again. Bring them together. Now I'm in reverse, working through, down, down, down. There's the other atom, but it's in forward now. So I said other atom, right? What's that mean? So if we look from here, the planes are coming together at my solar plexus, making a V. V stands for valley, because it's like a valley. Keep going. Now, the polar meeting at my solar plexus, but the planes are making a mountain, right? You can imagine that like a mountain, just like a kid would draw it. So mountain mode, this one. Valley mode, this one. That's when your hands are on their native side, right? So when each hand's on its native side and the edge of the orbit meets, is it in a valley or is it in a mountain? When we do those drills, we go through forward valley mode, horizontal, reverse mountain mode. Pay attention to that. Or reverse valley mode, forward mountain mode. That's critical shit. I'll explain why real briefly right now, just to show you. If I'm doing mountain mode forward, if I turn around, it's in valley mode. It's because of the way our arms are, you know. If I want them to look like valley mode when I turn around, I have to cross my arms. If I uncross them, I'm in mountain. So with these tilted atoms, forward valley equals reverse mountain, and reverse valley equals forward mountain. There are two ways to experience this atom, right? It's technically, if you consider it a framework on its own, there's one atom, but it's upside down. So if you were to maintain your planes, your forward, you know, valley mode, there is a way that I could go upside down, like hang from my feet or something, then it's the same atom, you know. It's dumb theoretical shit. Just know that in reality, the way that we manipulate these, there's two versions: forward valley, reverse mountain, or reverse valley, forward mountain. And that drill takes you through all that. So, horizontal switch, buzz it on. Let me bring that up so we can have reverse, horizontal. Other one, and back. So those are some excellent drills for getting used to the, so atoms have a polarity, right? Every orbit does. This side's up, this side's down. So there's a positive, if we want up to mean positive and down to mean negative. It's arbitrary. It's just being aware that there's a positive and negative side of each orbit. And so when we do this one, both of the poi at my chest level are moving towards me. So that means that edge of the orbit is polarized in the same fashion. Since it's moving towards me, we can call it plus, right? Or you might experience it as negative because it's moving away from you. It doesn't matter. The fact is that they're both doing the same thing. If they're both doing the same thing, we can cross the tethers. So it's easier to see this at the same time. But the tethers where they cross make a little X, right? Right there, in between. I'm trying to point to it, it's tough. I think you get the point. That X is called your nexus. If that nexus sits inside the quadrant where it's either plus plus or minus minus, it'll always work. Your atom will always work. If your nexus goes into one of these side quadrants, that's a plus minus or a plus minus, that's where you get your tangles, right? So here's this. If I, you know, up here they'll match because they're both, my nexus is now in a bottom or a top quadrant. But if I try to put my nexus here, you get the tangle. That's not a mistake, unless you don't do it on purpose, but you can actually use that tangle. It's an air wrap. So that's not a mistake. It's just a different way to think about those quadrants. The quadrant thing is important for this next drill. The next drill, you'll see where this goes. It's going to be very similar to the first one, not first one, to the previous one we did. except we're doing it in opposites, right? So instead of being the same direction like this and bending out, we're going to do one forward, one reverse. And we're going to run through the same drill. Okay, so this one, choose either way, forward to start, reverse to start, it doesn't matter. But we'll move through the same planar orientations as the previous drill. And the same thing here. It doesn't matter which one you choose with, because they'll switch each time, right? So the white poi is coming towards me, but now it's in reverse. Now it's going towards you. Now it's forward to me. See, so it switches each time. So the whole moving from the top to the bottom is kind of arbitrary. With opposites, it's a weird thing. But just be sure to drill both directions through all of the angles, just like the previous drill. Okay. And from the side. So that drill, you may have noticed something, maybe not, but where our atoms come together, did you notice where these ones, when we're in buzzsaw, the nexus is on the top or the bottom, right? So I could just bring my hands together and it works. When we're in opposite direction like this, now the polarity is all jacked. When I stack them, you can see that the side has a matching polarity, right? So these ones are both going towards you, these ones are both going away from you. So that means the nexus will only mesh on the sides, and it will tangle on the top and the bottom. See, so spread it out just to actually go all the way around because this one's easier. Now, if I try to put them together like I did the previous atom, I get that tangle, right? I meant to do an air wrap there. So I guess it's not that much easier. But you can also do that upward too. Hey, nailed it. So how do we make this work, right? The atom thing. Well, let's experiment. We'll spin them at 45s like this. And now we know that the tethers have to match on the side. But I can take this one, bring it around, and bring it over the top. I have to make some space in between my arms for the red one to go. Let's see how my nexus is over here on the side. Or over here on this side. So the blue one now goes between my arm. Red, blue. Blue can go outside too. Inside. Red can go inside and outside. So that's a valley mode lateral polarity atom. Keep it bending. Mountain mode lateral polarity. It's the same thing, it's just upside down. See? It just flips around. So, drill that, then back, bring it down, now the other direction. And then that mode. But that's all the drills that you really need to get the basic atoms that are tilted. You have a lot of things to drill, right? You have valley mode, forward, reverse, in a polarity on the top and the bottom. So like same direction. And then you have the lateral polarity, forward and reverse, also valley mode. And then all that in mountain mode too. So there's quite a few to work through. But if you just diligently make sure you get all the parts of this one, and then bring it up so it's in reverse now. Right. And then back. You'll cover all the atoms. You'll drill all of them. And then, this one too. So there you go. It's a lot to go through, but this is all, it'll get you going with the tilted atom, certainly. But this is also going to just give you excellent plane control. Like, you'll be surprised. You can do shit behind your head, and you can feel it will upgrade your playing game. So see what you can do with those. See how far you make it into the atom thing. If anyone has any questions, just ask. I'll make a video for you. All right, have a good one.